Okay, this is where we left off in part one, so make sure you write down a couple adjectives to describe the mood, the feeling, what you see in this picture. And again, take a look at the number of buildings, the closeness of the buildings. That's what I want you to kind of pay attention to. All right, and then moving on. This picture shows a horse-drawn carriage at an intersection, and the quality is not so great, but that could be partly due to the rudimentary technology, the fact that this technology, photography, was still being developed at this time. And so the crisp, clear images that we're used to, I mean the super high definition of photographs that we're used to just did not exist then. Also, I wanted you to pay attention to the gas lamp. This was the first sort of street light ever, really, and they were used in London in the Victorian era, but before these were widely used, for a good number of decades, there were no street lights in the central city. And when they were used, they did not give out a very bright light, and they were only put on the busiest of streets. So many streets didn't have street lights at all. So imagine how dark that would be, traveling through the city without any light whatsoever. And that's people got jobs holding out a lantern or a candle inside a glass lantern and sort of leading the way for people. That was called a link bearer, and that was a job that some people had. So write down a few words to describe this photo. Move on. These are what we would call, what would have been called in Charles Dickens' day, street urchins. And you've probably heard that word urchin. It has a really negative connotation. But you know, you think of it as an annoying little kid who doesn't have much. These would probably be children who are from a very poor family, or children maybe who were orphans, or that, you know, did not have enough money in their family to have proper clothes. No shoes, that was very common. This little boy doesn't have a shirt on. And this baby, I'm not sure what he or she is wearing, but it almost looks like an adult's coat that they're wrapped up in. So describe what you think of when you see these children in 2 or 3 adjectives as well. These are young girls playing in the street. You can look at the cobblestone streets and the gutter here. That's where all sorts of sewage would be sort of thrown, not just from the lots of horses that would be going by, but also many people did not have indoor plumbing. So think about where they might be going to the bathroom, and if there's no pipes to take that mess away, it would be put in a pot and then thrown out of a window or out of a door into the street, into the gutter. So not the best area for these girls to play, and the fact that they're sitting here hanging out right on the street corner like this would make us think that they're doing that because they have no better place to go. They would not just be doing that if they had a better place to go play, a nice park or some toys somewhere to occupy their time. So describe that scene, the street, the girls. What comes to mind when you look at that picture? 2 or 3 adjectives. Again, this is a street in central London. You can see some advertisements on the buildings here. Look at how tall the buildings are. You can get a good sense for a cobblestone street here, and a small sidewalk and a little curb, and there is some dirt and garbage, it looks like, in the gutter. Describe this picture in a few adjectives. Here's an extremely overcrowded cemetery, but that was not very uncommon. In fact, cemeteries were overflowing all the time, and in the Victorian era, they often had to dig up bodies and just send them away, put them all into a new big hole somewhere to make room for more and more and more bodies. Describe this cemetery too.